3 months later, Nari stood in the Great Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council on the planet Zentara. She wore a beautiful blue dress that Jiang had made for her, and her markings glowed steady, confident gold. She was no longer a scared slave child. She was an ambassador for her people. The hall was enormous, with seats for representatives from 1,000 different worlds. Today it was completely full. Everyone wanted to hear what the little Villani girl had to say. In the front row sat Captain Nam, Jiho, and Somin. Behind them were Jiang, Timan, and dozens of other chainsbreakers. All the humans who had risked everything to save alien children. At the defendants' table sat 3 Thrakari officials, including the scarred Commander Korth. They looked much smaller here than they had on Thander 7. President Unbi Cho of Earth sat in the human delegation section. She had flown all the way from Earth to be here for this moment. The chair recognizes Nari of the Villani people, announced the council speaker, a wise-looking alien with 6 arms and purple skin. Nari walked to the center of the hall. Her small footsteps echoed in the huge space. Every eye in the galaxy was watching her. She looked up at the thousands of alien faces staring down at her. For a moment, her markings flickered with nervousness. Then she saw Jiho smile at her, saw Captain Nam give her a thumbs up, saw all her human friends watching with love and pride. Her markings blazed golden again. "My name is Nari," she said. In clear galactic standard language, "I am 7 years old. I was a slave." The hall was completely silent. "When I was 4, Thrakari soldiers came to my world. They killed my parents. They took me and my brother and hundreds of other children. They put chains on us. They put collars on us that said we were property." She held up the collar that Jiho had cut from her neck. Every camera in the hall focused on it. "They told us we were not people, we were tools. Things to be used and thrown away when we broke." Her voice got stronger as she spoke. "They starved us if we cried. They hid us if we spoke our own language. They locked us in dark boxes for days if we tried to help each other." In the audience, several aliens were wiping their eyes. Even some of the Thrakari delegation looked uncomfortable. "But then I met humans," Nari continued. "Engineer Jiho Kim found me in a cargo container. I was so scared. I thought he would hurt me like all the others." She turned to look at Jiho. Her markings sparkled with love. "But he cut my chains. He gave me food. He gave me a name. He gave me hope. Then Captain Dongwoo Nam chose to protect me, even when it meant fighting." The powerful Thrakari Empire. Communications Officer Somin Lee helped take care of me. All the humans on the ship chose to help one small alien child. She faced the council again. Humans could have followed the laws. They could have given me back to my owners. They could have stayed safe and quiet, but they didn't. Because humans believe that children should not be slaves. That families should not be torn apart. That some things are more important than laws or money or being safe. The Thrakari delegate stood up. "The child lies," he shouted. She was well cared for. She was valuable property. The hall erupted in angry voices. Security guards moved toward the Thrakari section. Nari held up her small hand, and everyone fell silent. "I am not property," she said simply. "I am a person. All children are people." She activated a holographic projector that Jiang had given her. Images filled the air above the hall. Pictures from the rescue mission. Videos of chained children. Records of the horrible conditions on Thander 7. "These are my people," Nari said as the images played. "These are the children who were saved because humans chose to do what was right instead of what was easy." 347 children were rescued that day, but there are thousands more still in chains, still being bought and sold like things. She looked directly at the Thrakari delegates. "Commander Korth, you remember me, don't you? You remember what you did to me when I was 4 years old, when I was 5, when I was 6? The scarred Thrakari tried to look away, but her gold markings held his attention like a spotlight. "Do you remember telling me I would never be free? That no one would ever love a broken tool like me?" She smiled then, a bright, happy smile. "You were wrong. Humans love me. My brother loves me. My people love me. and now the whole galaxy knows what you really are. She turned back to the council. Honorable delegates, I ask you to make slavery illegal everywhere. I ask you to help free all the children still in chains. I ask you to show the universe that caring for each other is more important than profit. And I ask you to thank the humans who taught me that even one small person can change everything if they choose to be brave. The hall exploded in applause. Thousands of beings from across the galaxy stood up and cheered for the little girl who had found her voice. President Cho stood up in the human section. The Earth government formally requests that all rescued Villani children be granted full citizenship and protection under human law, she announced. We further request that the Galactic Council investigate all Thrikari slave operations and shut them down immediately. And we promise that humanity will continue to stand against slavery wherever we find it, no matter the cost. The vote was unanimous. Slavery was banned throughout Council space. The Thrikari Empire was ordered to release all enslaved beings. Immediately. Commander Korth and his officials were arrested and sent to prison. After the session ended, Nari found herself surrounded by reporters and diplomats from hundreds of worlds. Everyone wanted to talk to the brave little girl who had changed the galaxy, but she only wanted to be with her family. Jiho picked her up and hugged her tight. I'm so proud of you, he said. Are we going home now? She asked. Where's home? Captain Nam asked with a smile. Nari looked around at all the humans who had become her family. At Tail, her little brother, who was playing with a toy spaceship. At all the other rescued children, who were laughing and free. Her markings glowed the warmest, brightest gold anyone had ever seen. Home is wherever my family is, she said. Home is with the humans who broke my chains. Years later, when Nari became the first Villani to graduate from Earth University, when she became an ambassador working to free enslaved peoples across the galaxy, when she helped establish the Chainbreaker Academy that trained rescuers from a dozen species, she would always remember that moment. The moment when one small human looked at one small alien child and decided that some things were more important than following the rules. The moment when humanity showed the galaxy what it meant to do the right thing, no matter the cost. The moment when love broke chains that seemed unbreakable, and the galaxy was never the same. The moon Thander 7 looked like a dirty gray rock floating in space. No plants, no animals, no beauty. Just ugly metal buildings and guard towers, perfect for hiding terrible secrets. The Chainsbreaker fleet approached carefully, using special technology to hide from Thrikari sensors. Nari sat in the Hambit's command center studying the readings. 347 children down there, she said softly. Her empathic abilities could sense them even from space. Fear, sadness, hunger, and worst of all, hopelessness. Guard shift changes in 20 minutes, reported Minho from the Soul Star. That's our window. The plan was complex but had to be. Half the ships would attack the main facility to draw attention. The other half would land at the children's holding areas to evacuate them. Jiho checked his equipment one more time. You stay on the ship, Nari. We'll bring the children to you. No, she said firmly. Children too scared. They not trust strange humans, they trust me. It's too dangerous, sir. Everything dangerous, Nari replied. But children need me. Captain Nam knelt down in front of her. If you come with us, you do exactly what Jiho says. No running off. No trying. To be a hero, Nari nodded seriously. I be careful. But I help my people. The attack began at exactly midnight station time. The Soul Star and 3 other ships hit the main guard barracks with stunning weapons, powerful enough to knock out Thrikari soldiers but not kill them. Humans preferred to win without unnecessary death. Alarms screamed across the facility. Guard towers lit up the dark sky with searchlights. While the guards rushed to defend the main buildings, the Handbit landed quietly near the children's compound. Jiho, Nari, and a team of 6 other humans crept through the shadows. The children's building was a long, low structure with thick walls and small windows. It looked more like a prison than a home. 30 guards inside, Nari whispered, her markings reading the emotions through the walls. Most are scared because of alarms. 3 are angry. 2 are excited. The excited ones worried Jiho. Guards who enjoyed their work were the most dangerous. They slipped through a maintenance entrance that Nari remembered from her time here. The hallways inside were narrow and dimly lit, perfect for small, quiet rescuers. The first room they found held 20 Villani children, all chained to the walls. They were thin and dirty, with dull markings that barely glowed. When they saw Nari, hope flickered in their eyes like tiny candles. "Friends," she said, in her musical Villani language, "human friends. Come to take you home." The children were afraid to believe it. Too many false hopes, too many broken promises, but when Jiho began carefully cutting their chains, when Soman offered them food and water, when the humans spoke in gentle voices, their markings began to change. Room after room, they freed more children. Some were so weak they had to be carried. Others were so scared they hid in corners. Nari spoke to each one in their own language. She let them see her bright, healthy markings. She showed them that she was free, that she was safe, that they could be too. "How many more?" Jiho asked as they cleared the 7th room. "2 more buildings," Nari said, "but big problem coming." Through the walls, she could sense angry emotions approaching. The excited guards had figured out what was happening. "Contact the ship," Jiho told Soman. "Tell them we need pickup in 10 minutes. They worked faster now. The last building held the youngest children, babies and toddlers who could barely walk. These were the most valuable to the Thrakari because they could be trained from the very beginning. Seeing them broke something in Jiho's heart. Children Nari's age caring for babies. Children who should have been playing instead learning to be slaves. "Almost done," he told himself. "Almost done." That's when the doors burst open. 6 Thrakari guards rushed in, weapons ready. The lead guard was bigger than the others, with scars covering his purple skin. "Stop, thieves!" he shouted in broken English. "Children belong to us." The rescued children screamed and tried to hide behind the humans. Their markings flashed terror black, but Nari stepped forward. Her markings weren't black. They were burning gold, brighter than anyone had ever seen them. She looked up at the scarred guard and spoke in the Thrakari language. Her voice was small but strong. The guard stopped. His yellow eyes went wide. "What did you tell him?" Jiho whispered. "I told him his name," Nari said calmly. "Guard Commander Korth, I told him I remember everything he did to me. Everything he did to the other children." The guard's weapon shook in his hands. "I told him the whole galaxy will know his name," Nari continued. "Know what kind of person hurts babies. Know what kind of monster he is." Something amazing happened. The other Thrakari guards began backing away from their commander. They looked ashamed. Even they had limits. "I told him that humans record everything." Nari said, "Every rescue, every crime, every face. And humans never forget." Commander Korth's weapon clattered to the floor. He turned and ran. The other guards followed him. The rescue ships landed outside. In 15 minutes, all 347 Villani children were safely aboard human vessels, heading for a secret sanctuary world where they could heal and grow up free. But their work wasn't finished. As the Chainsbreaker fleet prepared to leave Thander 7, they sent a message to every news service in the galaxy. Videos of the chained children, records of the living conditions, testimony from the rescued Villani about their treatment, and a simple statement: "This is what the Thrakari Empire calls legal. This is what they do to children. This is why Earth stands against them." The galaxy watched, and the galaxy was horrified. 2 weeks had passed since Captain Nam's decision. The Handbit was hiding in an asteroid field, far from the normal space routes. Earth Command had ordered them to stay hidden while diplomats argued about what to do. Nari was getting stronger every day. She could speak basic Korean now and was learning fast. Her markings had settled into mostly warm colors: gold when she was happy, soft blue when she was thinking, green when she felt safe. But sometimes, late at night, they would flash red. Nightmares about chains and dark containers still haunted her. Jiho was teaching her to read when the communication system made a special sound, a secret code that meant hidden messages. "Captain," Soman called from the bridge. Encrypted transmission coming in, very secure. Captain Nam came to look at the message. His eyes went wide as he read. Jiho, bring Nari to the bridge, he said. There's something we need to see. On the main screen, a human face appeared. A woman with kind eyes and gray hair. My name is Jiong Kong, she said. I'm a scientist who studies alien life. I've heard about what you did for the Villani child. Nari looked at the screen with interest. Her markings turned curious yellow. We're not the only ones, the woman continued. There are humans all across the galaxy who have been saving enslaved aliens. We call ourselves the Chainsbreakers. Images appeared on the screen. Other ships, other rescued aliens. Children and adults of many different species, all free from slavery. The Villani people were once a proud civilization, Jiang explained. They lived on beautiful worlds filled with crystal cities. But the Thrakari invaded 50 years ago. They discovered that Villani children could read emotions. Nari's markings turned sad purple. She understood more than anyone realized. The Thrakari have been stealing Villani children ever since, Jiang continued. They use them as living tools. Empathic servants who can tell their masters the feelings of others. That's horrible, Soman whispered. There are thousands of Villani children in Thrakari slave markets right now, Jiang said. But we have a plan to save them. We need your help. Another face appeared on the screen, a man with serious eyes. I'm Timin Yu, he said, former diplomat. I quit my job when I learned about the slave trade. Captain Nam, your decision to protect one child has given us hope. Will you help us save hundreds more? Captain Nam looked at his crew. Then at Nari, who was listening carefully to every word. What do you need us to do? He asked. The plan was dangerous but simple. The Thrakari had a main processing center on a moon called Thander 7. All stolen Villani children passed through there before being sold. The facility holds about 300 children at any time, Timin explained through the secure channel. We've been planning a rescue for months, but we need someone who knows Thrakari security systems. Everyone looked at Nari. She was small, but she had lived in Thrakari facilities. She knew their routines. No, Jiho said firmly. She's just a child. I won't put her in danger, but Nari stepped forward. Her markings were determined gold. I help, she said in careful Korean. Other children scared, like me scared. I help them. Not scared. Nari, it's too dangerous, Captain Nam said gently. She shook her head. I know guards. I know where children sleep. I know how to hide. Her markings flashed with memories. I remember everything, and she did. Over the next few days, Nari drew detailed maps of Thrakari facilities. She remembered guard schedules, security codes, even which guards were cruel and which ones just did their jobs. Her empathic abilities let her sense things others missed. This guard is always angry, she would say, pointing to a drawing. This one feels guilty. This one can be tricked. The Chainsbreakers were amazed. Nari's memory was perfect, and her emotional reading gave them insights no spy could provide. She's incredible, Jiang said during one of their planning sessions. But are we really going to let a child help plan a military operation? She's not just any child, Captain Nam said. She's the only one who truly understands what those other children are going through. Soon, other ships began arriving at their hidden asteroid base. The cargo ship Solstar, captained by Minho Park, the research vessel. Bizan Hope with scientist Yoonji Kim, the fast courier Daegu runner piloted by Junho Lee, all humans, all chainsbreakers. All ready to risk everything to save enslaved children, Nari. Met other rescued aliens too. Kira, a butterfly-like being whose people were forced to make beautiful art for their masters. Zen, a small lizard person whose species was used for dangerous mining work. But it was when she met another Villani that everything changed. His name was Tail. He was even smaller than Nari. Maybe 4 human years old? He had been rescued from a slave ship 3 months ago. When Nari saw him, her markings exploded with every color at once. Joy, surprise, love, sadness, hope, all mixed together. She ran to him and hugged him tight. They spoke in their own language, a musical sound like singing wind chimes. My brother, she whispered to Jiho in Korean. My little brother, I thought he was dead. Jiho felt tears in his eyes. This little family, torn apart by slavers, was finally together again, but Tail had terrible news. There were hundreds of other Villani children still trapped. Their parents, their friends, their whole families. We saved them all, Nari said, her markings burning with fierce determination. We break all the chains. The rescue fleet was ready. 12 human ships armed with the best weapons Earth could provide. Over 200 human volunteers, all willing to fight for alien children they had never met. But as they prepared to leave for Thander 7, long-range sensors detected something that made everyone's blood run cold. A massive Thrakari battle fleet was moving toward their position. 50 ships armed with enough firepower to destroy planets. They found us, Captain Nam said grimly. No, Teeman said, studying the sensor readings. They're not coming for us. They're heading for Earth. The Thrakari Empire had decided that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to continue their rescue operations. They were going to make an example of Earth itself. We have to warn them, Somin said. There's no time, Jiang replied. The fleet will reach Earth in 6 days. Even our fastest ships would take 8 days to get there. Nari looked up at all the worried adult faces around her. Her markings had gone very serious blue. We save children first, she said quietly. Then, we save Earth. Everyone stared at her. If we save Villani children, she explained, all galaxy sees Thrakari are bad. All galaxy helps Earth fight. It was the wisdom of a child, but it made perfect sense. The best way to save Earth was to show the galaxy what monsters the Thrakari really were. The rescue mission would proceed as planned. Commander Park stood in the doorway with his face red and angry. Behind him was something that made Jiho's blood turn cold. The Thrakari enforcer was tall, maybe 7 feet. His skin was dark purple, almost black. 4 arms moved at his sides. His head looked like a snake's head, but bigger. Yellow eyes stared at Jiho without blinking. This is Enforcer Vexstar, Commander Park said. He's looking for stolen property. A small alien that was in our cargo. I don't know what you mean, Jiho said. But his voice shook a little. Vexstar stepped forward. When he spoke, his voice sounded like rocks grinding together. The smell is here, he said in broken English. Villani child scent, fear scent, she is close. From under the bed came a tiny whimper. Nari was trying not to make noise, but she was too scared. Vexstar's snake head turned toward the sound. His yellow eyes got brighter. There, he hissed. My property. She's not property, Jiho said before he could stop himself. Commander Park stared at him. Kim, what have you done? Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway. Captain Dongwoo Nam appeared behind the others. He was a big man with kind eyes and gray hair. But right now his face was very serious. What's going on here? Captain Nam asked. This fool has stolen valuable cargo, Vexstar said. He pushed past Jiho into the room. Nari screamed. It was a sound Jiho would never forget. Pure terror. The sound of a child who had been hurt before and knew it would happen again. Her markings flashed bright red, then went completely black. She tried to crawl further under the bed. Vexstar reached down with one of his 4 arms. Come out, little one. Time to go home. No! Jiho stepped between them. Don't touch her. She is mine, Vexstar said. I have papers, legal ownership. Legal? Summon's voice came from the doorway. She had arrived with Captain Nam. Legal to own a child? Captain Nam looked confused. Someone explain what's happening. Jiho took a deep breath. Sir, I found a little girl in the cargo. She was chained up. Hungry. Scared. This thing says he owns her. The Villani are excellent servants, Vexstar said like he was talking about a machine. This one is young, easy to train, worth much money. She's a child, Somin said. Her hands were shaking with anger. Not a thing to be sold? Captain Nam walked slowly to the bed. He got down on his knees and looked underneath. Nari stared back at him with huge, terrified eyes. Her markings were still black, but tiny flickers of other colors showed through. She was reading his emotions. Hello, little one, Captain Nam said very softly. My name is Dongwoo. I'm not going to hurt you. Something in his voice made Nari's markings shift slightly. A tiny bit of blue appeared in the black. Captain Nam had 3 daughters back on Earth. He knew how to talk to scared children. How old is she? He asked without looking away from Nari. Age does not matter, Vextar said. She is property. Return her now or face punishment. I asked how old she is. Captain Nam's voice was still gentle, but there was steel underneath. Jeho knelt down beside the captain. I think maybe 6 or 7 human years. She was so hungry, sir. They only gave her stale bread and no water. Captain Nam's jaw got tight. He looked at the broken chains Jeho had left on the floor, at the collar with its cruel words. Get up, sweetheart, he said to Nari. Nobody's going to hurt you while I'm here. Nari slowly crawled out from under the bed. She stayed close to Jeho, but she looked at Captain Nam. Her markings were reading something in him that surprised her. Kindness, protection, fatherly love. The black faded to dark blue, then to cautious green. Enough, Vextar hissed. I take her now. He reached for Nari with all 4 arms. Captain Nam stood up fast. Even though Vextar was taller, Captain Nam was broader and stronger. He stepped between them. No, he said simply. What? Vextar's yellow eyes went wide. I said no, you're not taking her. Commander Park stepped forward. Sir, we have to follow diplomatic protocols. The Thrakari have legal claim to a child? Captain Nam's voice got louder. Legal claim to chain up a little girl and starve her? The law is clear, Vextar said. She belongs to House Vextar. Return her or face war. Captain Nam laughed, but it was not a happy sound. War? You're threatening war over one scared little girl? She is valuable property. She's a child, Captain Nam shouted. A baby, and if your people think they can buy and sell children, then maybe it's time someone stood up to you. The room went very quiet. Everyone stared at Captain Nam. On Earth, the Korean Space Consortium was small compared to big galactic empires. They usually stayed out of fights. They followed the rules. They didn't make trouble, but Captain Nam was looking at Nari, who was holding tight to Jeho's hand. Her markings were bright gold now. She could feel his determination to protect her. Computer, Captain Nam said loudly. Record this official statement. A gentle voice answered. Recording, Captain. I, Captain Dongwoo Nam of the vessel Hambit, do hereby classify the alien child known as Nari as a rescued refugee under human protection. She is not property. She is not cargo. She is a child in need of help. You cannot do this, Vextar hissed. I just did. Captain Nam looked at Commander Park. Contact Earth Command. Tell them we have a refugee situation. Tell them about the chains, the starvation, everything. Sir, Commander Park said nervously, this could cause serious problems. Good, Captain Nam said. Some problems need to be caused. Vextar's 4 arms were shaking with anger. You will regret this, human. The Thrakari Empire will not forget. Neither will I, Captain Nam said quietly. Every time I look at this little girl, I'll remember what you people do to children. And I'll make sure everyone else remembers too. Vextar turned and stomped out of the room. Commander Park followed, talking rapidly into his communication device. Captain Nam knelt down in front of Nari again. Are you okay, sweetheart? Nari looked up at him. Then, for the first time since Jeho found her, she smiled. Her markings turned the most beautiful golden color anyone had ever seen, she pointed to herself. Nari, she said in a small, sweet voice. It was the first word she had spoken. Captain Nam smiled back. Hello, Nari. Welcome to the family. Outside the room, alarms started ringing. Red lights flashed in the hallways. The Thrakari ship was powering up its weapons. The real fight was just beginning. Jeho's room was small but clean. 1 bed, 1 desk, 1 chair. A small window showed the stars outside. It was not much, but it was safe. Private. The little alien girl sat on his bed, wrapped in his spare blanket. She had not moved for 2 hours. Her big green eyes watched everything, the door, the window. Jeho. Her skin markings still glowed soft blue. Not the angry red from before, but not happy either. Careful, waiting. Jiho had brought her food from the ship's kitchen. Real food, not stale bread, soup, rice, some fruit? She ate slowly like she was afraid it would be taken away. What's your name? Jiho asked gently. The girl looked at him but said nothing. Maybe she did not understand. Maybe she was too scared to speak. Jiho pointed to himself. Jiho, he said clearly. Then he pointed to her and waited. The girl tilted her head. She made a soft sound like singing, but it was not words. Jiho knew. I'll call you Nari, he said. That means lily flower in Korean. Your markings remind me of flowers. The girl, Nari, watched his face as he spoke. Something strange happened. Her markings changed from blue to soft yellow. She was listening not just to his words, but to something else. His feelings. A knock on the door made them both freeze. Jiho, you in there? It was Soman Lee, the communications officer. Captain wants to see you. Jiho looked at Nari. Her markings went bright red again. She could sense his fear. Just a minute. Jiho called back. He quickly moved Nari into his small bathroom. Stay here, he whispered. Stay quiet. I'll be back. He closed the bathroom door and opened the main door. Soman stood in the hallway, holding her tablet. Hey, she said. Did you finish the cargo check? Commander Park is asking questions. Yes, everything checked out fine, Jiho lied. What does the captain want? Not sure. Something about the next station drop. Soman stepped closer. You okay? You look worried. I'm fine, just tired. Soman looked past him into his room. Smells like ... the towers in here. That's weird. Jiho's heart raced. New soap, he said quickly. From the bathroom came a tiny sound. Like a small cough. Soman's eyes went wide. Jiho ... Is someone in there? No, another sound. Definitely not Jiho. Soman pushed past him into the room. She walked straight to the bathroom door. Don't. Jiho said, but it was too late. Soman opened the door and stopped dead. Nari sat on the floor, wrapped in the blanket, staring up with those huge green eyes. Oh my God, Soman whispered. What ... who is she? Jiho closed his room door quickly. I can explain. She's not human. Soman knelt down slowly. Look at her ears, her skin, those markings. Nari's markings were flashing between red and blue, fear and confusion. She could feel the emotions from both humans now. She was in the cargo, Jiho said quietly, chained up like an animal. I couldn't just leave her there? Chained? Soman's voice was angry now. Who would chain up a child? I don't know, but look at this. Jiho showed Soman the collar he had removed. The strange writing was clearly visible. Soman ran the writing through her translation tablet. Her face went pale. It says, property of House Vexstar. Empathic servant, trained for emotional reading. Do not feed without permission. Empathic servant? Jiho asked. She can feel emotions, Soman said. That's why her markings change colors. She's reading our feelings. They both looked at Nari. Her markings were now soft purple. She was picking up their sadness and anger about her situation. The manifest says this cargo goes to the Thrakari trade station, Soman said. Jiho, if they find out she's missing... No, Jiho sat down on his bed. But I couldn't send her back. She's just a baby. Soman was quiet for a long moment. Then she sat down too. My sister has a daughter about this age, she said finally. If someone hurt her like this... She looked at Nari. What do you need? Help, Jiho said. I can't do this alone. That night, Soman brought clothes that might fit Nari, food that was easier for her to eat. A small toy from the ship's recreation room. Nari was still scared, but she was starting to trust them. When Jiho smiled, her markings turned warm gold. When Soman spoke gently, they became soft green. She was learning their emotions. Learning that not all bigger people wanted to hurt her. The next morning, everything changed. Jiho was teaching Nari simple Korean words when the ship's alarm sounded. Red lights flashed in the hallways. All crew to stations, Captain Dongwoo Nam's voice came over the speakers. We have visitors. Through his window, Jiho saw a black ship moving closer. It was sleek and dangerous looking. Weapon ports were visible on its sides. Salman burst into his room without knocking. "We have a problem," she said. "A Thrakari enforcer ship just arrived. They're demanding to come aboard." Nari made a sound like a scared animal. Her markings went completely black. Terror. "They're looking for her," Jiho said. "The commander is on his way here," Soman said. "He knows something is wrong." "And there's a Thrakari enforcer with him? Someone called Vexstar?" That name made Nari try to hide under the bed. She was shaking so hard her markings were flashing like broken lights. "We have to do something," Jiho said. "Like what? We're just crew members." "They have the law on their side." Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. Commander Park's voice was loud and angry. "I know you're hiding something, Kim. Open this door." Jiho looked at Nari, trembling. Under his bed, then he looked at Salman. "Get Captain Nam," he said quietly. "Tell him everything. Tell him what they did to her." "Jiho, he might not—" "He's a father," Jiho said. "He has kids back on Earth. He'll understand." More footsteps. More voices. The enforcer was speaking in a harsh, clicking language. "Kim," Commander Park shouted. "Last warning." Jiho walked to his door. His hand was on the lock button. He thought about the scared little girl under his bed. He thought about the chains, the empty water bowl, the stale bread. He thought about what was right. And he opened the door. "Hello, Commander," Jiho said calmly. "I think we need to talk." The cargo bay of the Hanbit was cold and quiet. Jiho Kim walked between the tall metal boxes, checking each one with his scanner. The red numbers on his tablet showed everything was normal. Temperature good, pressure good, contents safe. This was his job. Check the cargo, make sure nothing was broken, make sure nothing was missing. It was boring work, but Jiho liked boring. Boring meant safe. Boring meant no problems. The Hanbit was a big ship. It carried goods between planets for the Korean Space Consortium, food, tools, medicine, and other things people needed. Jiho had worked on cargo ships for 8 years. He knew every sound the ship made, every smell in the air, every feeling. When something was wrong, today felt wrong, Jiho stopped walking. He looked around the cargo bay. Everything looked the same as always, but something was different. He could not say what. His scanner beeped. Container 47B was showing a strange reading. The temperature was too warm. Bio readings were active. That made no sense. Container 47B was marked as scientific samples. Dead things, old rocks. Not alive. Jiho walked to the container. It was green metal, about the size of a small room. The label said it came from the mining station on Kepler 442, their next stop. He pressed his ear to the metal. Inside he heard something move. "That's not right," Jiho said to himself. He looked at his tablet again. The bio readings were definitely there. Something alive was in that container. Something small. Jiho knew the rules. Never open cargo without permission. Always follow the manifest. Always ask the captain first. But the readings worried him. If something was alive in there, it might be hurt. It might be dying. He typed his access code into the container lock. The heavy door opened with a loud hiss. Cold air rushed out. The smell hit him first. Fear, sickness, unwashed bodies, and something else. Something that reminded him of flowers. Inside the dark container, Jiho saw boxes of rocks and soil samples. But in the back corner, behind a stack of metal cases, something moved. He turned on his flashlight. 2 large eyes stared back at him. Round eyes, bright green like emeralds. They belonged to a small face, a child's face. But not human. The creature was tiny, maybe the size of a 6-year-old human child. Her skin was pale gray with silver markings that seemed to glow softly. She had small pointed ears and a thin tail. She looked like a mix between a human and a cat. She was curled up in a ball, shaking. Thin metal chains connected to a collar around her neck. The collar had writing on it that Jiho could not read. "Oh no," Jiho whispered. The child creature stared at him with those huge green eyes. The silver markings on her skin pulsed with dull red light. Fear. She was afraid of him. Jiho had never seen anything like her before. But he knew what the chains meant. He knew what the collar meant, that she was a slave. Jiho felt sick. He had heard stories about aliens who captured other aliens, who bought and sold people like objects. But he had never seen it with his own eyes. The little girl tried to push herself further into the corner. She made a small sound like a hurt animal. "It's okay," Jiho said softly. "I won't hurt you." She did not understand his words, but she seemed to understand his gentle voice. The red glow in her markings faded a little. Jiho looked at the chains. They were locked to a metal ring in the container wall. The little girl could barely move. She had been trapped in this dark, cold box for who knows how long. There was a water bowl next to her. It was empty. A small plate had a few pieces of stale bread. That was all the food she had. "You're just a baby," Jiho said. His voice was angry now, but not at her. At whoever did this to her. He heard footsteps in the corridor outside. Someone was coming. "Hey, Jiho!" a voice called. It was Hyunwoo Park. "The station commander? What's taking so long with that cargo check?" Jiho looked at the little girl, then at the door, then back at her. If he reported this, what would happen? Would they send her back to whoever owned her? Would they follow the rules and ignore that she was just a scared child? The little girl looked up at him. In her eyes he saw something that made his heart hurt. Hope. Tiny, fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, someone would help her. "Just finishing up," Jiho called back. "Everything looks good." It was a lie. Nothing about this was good, Commander. Park's footsteps moved away down the corridor. Jiho knelt down in front of the little girl. He moved slowly, carefully. He did not want to scare her more. "I don't know what you are," he said quietly. "I don't know where you came from. But nobody should be chained up like this. Nobody." The girl tilted her head slightly. The silver markings on her skin began to pulse with soft blue light instead of red. Still afraid, but maybe curious too, Jiho reached for his toolkit. He found his laser cutter. It was meant for opening stuck cargo containers, but it would work on chains too. "I'm going to get these off you," he said. The little girl watched as he carefully cut through the chains. When they fell away, she rubbed her wrists where the metal had been. Her skin was raw and red underneath. She was free from the chains. But not free yet. Not really. Jiho knew that helping her would cause problems. Big problems. The station commander would be angry. The company would be angry. Maybe even the government would be angry. But looking at this scared little girl, Jiho knew he had only one choice. He was going to break the rules.